Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andrew from travelingguitarist.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about guitar strings and how people typically refer to them as being susceptible to rusting. From what I understand, I'm just filling up my vape right now. From what I understand, guitar strings, they don't actually rust, with the exception of the highest strings, which tend not to be wound. The highest strings are, I think, from how I understand this, is that they're like kind of made of iron underneath, and then they have like a thin nickel alloy over top of them. So they, while they can rust, like it's possible for them if they have iron in them, they can rust because iron, when it's exposed to moisture, it causes what's called oxidation. And that's why when you see like rust underneath a car, like you'll see that it's the material itself is actually degrading and declining, and it's literally disappearing because the oxidation process is actually destroying it, and like it's disintegrating. However, guitar strings are normally, they have like a nickel alloy over them, especially the wound ones that most electric guitar strings are made out of. Like how they're wound, they're literally wound guitar strings. So it's usually like a nickel alloy over top of them, so they don't actually rust. What happens to them is they become tarnished. It's like this thin layer of gunk kind of forms over them over time. Now, from what I do understand, though, it's like they can become rusted if the core of them is iron. So over a long period of time, the high E string, for example, like it can rust and actually degrade and then snap. But the wound ones are less susceptible to this. So while they can rust, sort of, what's really happening in most cases is they're getting like this thin layer of gunk over top of them, and that's what's happening. Like it's causing them to sound terrible because they have all this gunk accumulated in the string. That's why they lose that natural brightness and that natural cleanliness. That sound of fresh strings where they just sound so awesome. So from this image that you can see here, I took a picture of my fretboard and the strings, because they actually need to be changed right now. In fact, my high E string just snapped the other day. But well, you can kind of like see this gunk forming on it, right? You can see this nasty gunk forming on the strings, and that's why they're starting to sound bad. So there's a few things that you can do to avoid this. So we're going to talk about that now. The first thing that I would mention is to use string conditioners. Now these are actually kind of controversial. Like some people just say string conditioners are a total waste. Personally, I like them. Some people say they're a marketing grab. They're just like a scam, but I think they're pretty cool. They just kind of like freshen them up a bit. And plus it has the added benefit of kind of encouraging you to always wipe them off and keep them clean. Either way, I mean, you're not going to go wrong with giving this a shot. You can usually pick up a bottle of this string conditioner for from anywhere between $3 to $10. Like it's not going to hurt you to give it a shot and see what you think. So I would definitely recommend picking some up on Amazon. You can check the price there. Another thing that you can do is you can worry about, or rather take measures to ensure the control of humidity in your room. So you can get a humidifier. You can even go a step further and get like a guitar case that has a natural humidifier built into it. These are a little more expensive, but from what I understand, they're actually pretty worth it, especially for gigging guitarists who travel all over the world and stuff. Many guitar cases for people who are world class musicians, they'll purchase one of these, and it kind of keeps their guitar safe from the change of temperature, humidity, and climate when they go to different countries and whatnot. So it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, you can get a humidifier for your apartment, and that has the added benefit of kind of keeping, frankly, all of your electronics and steel created products fresh and at the optimal quality. And not only that, but I mean, a humidifier is just a dope thing to have for your place. I mean, it keeps your, it's totally unrelated, but it keeps your like skin fresh, and you're not gonna be all itchy and whatnot. So I read from a guitar fella, I'm referencing him. He said that the perfect range for humidity for your house or your apartment is between 40 and 60%. That range discourages the growth of microorganisms, so that's going to help things out a little bit. Perhaps, though, the best thing that you can do for keeping your guitar strings fresh is just having a microfiber cloth and just wiping them off every time you use them. Just when you're done, just take the cloth, put it underneath the string, and wrap it around it, and just go all the way up, and just wipe them off, nice and good. That's going to keep all the oils and all the gunk off it. It's going to, be a preventative measure from the creation of gunk. Another thing you can do is just wash your hands. Wash your hands with soap before you play the guitar. Personally, I don't do this a ton because I just kind of pick up my guitar compulsively. I just do it randomly without without really thinking. It's almost like a habit. So I don't really do this as much as I should, but that's something that you can do. Another thing that you can do is get Elixir Strings, which comes with this chemical compound that kind of thwarts the facilitation of rust and tarnish. The company is known for creating a lot better, longer lasting strings. For that reason, they tend to be a little more expensive as well. From what I understand, I think they're about $12 per set of strings, where Ernie Ball, for instance, you can get those for maybe $7. But yeah, it's definitely worth trying Elixir Strings. If you get sick of changing your strings all the time, you can try those out. Another thing that I always do when I change my strings is I give the guitar a good cleaning. Now this is kind of tangentially related because it's not going to thwart anything. It's not going to thwart rust and degradation or tarnish. It's just going to keep everything nice and clean, and I don't know, there's just something about it that I feel like it kind of just makes the guitar play a lot better. It just feels better. You might as well clean the whole thing, including the fretboard, the frets themselves. Get rid of all that grime and dust and oil and accumulated oils. But yeah, so that's all for this video, really. In conclusion, your guitar strings, they can rust sort of if the core of them is made out of iron. But what's usually happening in most cases is they're just tarnishing, because most electric guitar wound strings come with like a nickel alloy over top of them. So really what's happening is just like an accumulation of oil and gunk on the strings. Now, if your guitar strings are made out of other rust susceptible materials, then they can rust. But assuming that it's nickel alloy, it's not going to rust in the way that you think. It's just going to be like a tarnish. In conclusion, that's about it. I hope this video was helpful for you, including all those tips. Make sure you check out my article at travelingguitarist.com /guitar strings strings don't rust. I'll put the link in the video as usual, the video description. What's another thing to mention, actually, before we sign out? I actually use this for wiping my guitar down. It's Dunlop 65 guitar polish and cleaner. I actually just I use it on the strings as well. Maybe you're not supposed to, but I do. You can pick that up on Amazon. Just check the price there. But anyway, that's all for this video. I really hope this was helpful for. Wow, I can't talk today. I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the next video.